If you guys are experiencing a ton of oil in this area, this is where the engine meets the transmission, you might want to check out this video. This is one of the worst rear main seals I have ever seen.
I'll be back home, but I gotta go to work.
If you have a BMW that's leaking oil from the bottom of the car, let me show you what I'm talking about. So when you diagnose these leaks from under the car, they can leak from so many different places. Please don't guess. There's a lot of guess mechanics out there, and you do not want to be one of them, I promise you. Now, to get a better look at this insane oil leak, I wish I got a video before I did this. There was literally oil pissing, I mean dripping.
No, God! No!
From between the transmission and the engine. Now, to get a better look, I'm gonna remove these shields so I can show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. That's why I'm here. If you guys are having oil leaks underneath the car, you wanna make sure you diagnose this correctly. So as you can see here, the oil pan gasket was definitely done before. We know that is good. There's oil here coming out this hole. The only place it would leak from this area is the valve cover, which would definitely be drops right here next to the cat, or here, which is the rear main seal. And you definitely want to take care of this if it is literally pissing out. Now there's only one way to get to the rear main seal, and it is removing the transmission.
Ooh. What the fuck, y'all? God damn! God damn!
Automatic or manual, doesn't matter. Transmission has to come off, and the flywheel or flex plate has to be removed. So let's start that. Okay guys, I'm kind of zooming through this, but I took off, there's an exhaust bracket here, which is right there on the floor. I took off the shields, you guys seen that. There's a little exhaust clamp here that hooks up to the transmission here. Now it's time to take off this shield so I can access the guibo to take off the bolts from there. Then I'm going to lower this transmission brace. It has two mounts here, one right here, one right here. And then I'm gonna disconnect the drive shaft and then disconnect the shifter. After that, I have to take out all the bell housing bolts and also the slave cylinder for the clutch. Now to remove the guibo, you're going to need an 18 wrench and 18 swivel socket. Also, if it's a manual, make sure the car's in neutral. Also, if it's an automatic, make sure it's in neutral. Right now that I have the drive shaft disconnected, I took out two 13s here for the carrier bearing. I usually let this hang here because when I remove the transmission, I can maneuver the trans around the drive shaft and stuff, but I don't have to take the whole drive shaft off. If you do take this piece off because it is removable, make sure that you put this rubber piece back on the drive shaft. You'll see like a little clip here. If you do not, when you drive the car, you will hear like a kind of like a scraping noise or like a whistling noise, but it's definitely because this isn't on the drive shaft. Just keep that in mind. Now it's time to remove the slave cylinder and then get to the bell housing bolts. Also, we have to remove the shifter as well. Now it's kind of hard to see, but there's some tabs here. Let's see if I can show you guys. There's a tab right, this is a clip for the shifter. There's a tab right here that you flip up. Let me see if I can get it. You twist this up like that and you wiggle it out. Same as well for the other side. I'm telling bro to get a car wash after he gets this service done. I'm sorry. Okay, now for the average person doing this, you might not have this extension, but I got this just for these bell housings. So if you look here, this extension is pretty long.
Pause, bro. Oh my gosh. I gotta edit that out, man.
But I usually add like a small extension there. But this definitely gets the job done for the top bell housing bolts. On the top, there should be 1, 2, 3, 4. There should be 5 on the top, and then the rest you could get on the side of the bell housing. All right, I'm gonna give you guys a few tips. I got most of the bell housing bolts out. I still have the 1, 2, 3 up top. But I wanted to mention a few things. So this bracket right here, let's see if you guys can see it. This bracket holds these stock catalytic converters on. What you can do if you do plan on upgrading this in the future, you can remove this bracket at the same time. 2 options, you can remove this, do your clutch or your remain seal, then put it back, or you can leave it off just to leave room for future upgrades. All right, guys, I just want to clarify. The starter bolt up there is an E14. The corner bolt, the top corner bolt up here, that one right there, is an E16. These 1, 2, 3 are E10s, and then these right here are E18. I always leave this one for last because it's the most accessible bolt and it's the easiest. But that's a little tip, another tip from me, usually what I do. All right, I removed all the bell housing bolts except this one right here. But it's time to take this out. I wanted to also mention this harness right here. There's one sensor here that's clipped to the transmission. Just be careful when you go to take it out. Make sure this whole harness is unclipped from the trans. You don't want it to pinch or break or anything like that. You will be here for a long time wondering why you have transmission codes. Woo, that was a little workout. But now that the transmission is out the way, we can get this clutch removed. Okay, now these bolts are super soft. Sometimes when I remove these clutches, these bolts strip. So I have to get an extraction tool to take them out. One. Wow. 2. This is one of the worst rear main seals I have ever seen. I'm not gonna lie, I could probably just take this off with my hands. Let me try. That's insane. Wow. Now let's get this cleaned up, put the new seal on and wrap everything up.
Perky, baby, what we finna do?
Now for the flywheel bolts, I usually put a little bit of red Loctite just to make sure. I wanna show you guys how much I put. Just a dab, nothing crazy, because you never know what can happen, because we are using the same bolts again, but it doesn't hurt. Also, another thing I have seen with these, this dowel pin gets crushed because people don't line it up with the flywheel. Now, if you guys look here, there is one hole right here that is bigger than the rest. That's where the dowel pin goes. You want to wiggle it on, you will hear like a noise that it's mating with the surface. That's how you know you got the right hole. If you don't have the right hole, it will be a little lopsided, but you'll be able to know. Just stay away of that dowel pin. This is the clutch alignment tool. Let's get this clutch back on. Now, when replacing a clutch on these or doing anything with the clutch, I do recommend to replace these bolts. The car wasn't provided with those bolts, so we're gonna reuse these, which really isn't a problem. But like I said earlier in the video, these bolts do become soft from the heat. Now, before I put the transmission back on, of course, these two exhaust studs broke. It's very common on Beamers from the East Coast, which is where I'm from, Connecticut. I'm gonna take care of these two. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed in the video, it is helpful to have another jack like this, because when removing the transmission from the engine, the bell housing loves to hit this tunnel right here. But that's if you have a shop and stuff like that. If you're at home, you can use a wood block. I don't know if you guys can see that. A wood block and a jack. Just be careful of anything surrounding that. Just another tip.
Pause, bro.
Yeah.
Unlike me.
You guys probably think I'm weak because I'm skinny, huh?
Bro!
Watch this. Stop playing with me, bro. Now let's get this transmission in. Now, all the bell housing bolts are in. The O2 sensors are connected now. The only thing I have to do now is put the slave cylinder. I have to put the clip for the shifter and the 2 clips for the bracket for the shifter, and then the drive shaft, transmission mounts, and wrap this back up for you guys. Ooh, baby, what's that?
They know I made my wool work, hop out with an oak.
Everything is back on the vehicle. Everything is tight. Everything is together. I'm gonna start the car, put it back up, and see if this rear mainsail leaks. We have a mission success. No more oil is leaking from here. Rear main seal is sealed. So guys, I would say this is a mission complete.